What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. You might have heard the movement called defund the police.
There's a lot of evidence to suggest that policing just isn't working, and it's especially not working for black people in America. Recent events have put the movement to abolish police at the forefront of public debate like never before.
From a historical perspective, what's going on with this police militarization? It's like the metaphor of the frog in the boiling pot. We can't tell how bad it is because we have been adjusting to the changes so gradually as the police slowly militarize, and there's no sign of it slowing down. To explain what I mean, let's start at the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963. That event brought on a bunch of new police militarization laws and domestic terrorism policies. It's when the SWAT division was first created. Before that, there was no SWAT. Also, the Navy and the Air Force, which were typically used in wars abroad, could now work with the police on cases of domestic terrorism, though it's typically been used for drug busts. Famously, SWAT raided the Black Panthers in 1969, which showed really for the first time like the extent of SWAT as a power, as a function in American policing. Another thing that happened at that time is the tanks rolling down the street. That started to happen for the first time ever. The police got military tanks. It's the same thing the police are doing today. They're pulling out these tanks and showing, hey, you can't produce a military tank like this. We are the real police. Don't go acting like you can try and police yourselves or like you're gonna change how we do things because we are the police. It's this really authoritarian response. But it's not just that the police don't like feeling discredited or that they don't like people protesting against them. There's actually something a lot more sinister going on. White nationalists or white supremacists make up the #1 largest domestic terrorist group in America, but the American military is known to be infiltrated by this group. The Pentagon even reported on the alarming number of white supremacist infiltrations in the military, so the country is well informed on the problem, and it trickles into the police force. 19% of active police officers are actually military veterans, according to a study. So I think the larger problem is it's nestled inside America going out and policing the world, such as in Iraq, Afghanistan. So some military vets come back to America, they join the police force, and there's this culture that makes sense to them. There's even a distinct familiarity in the weapons that they're using. Let's talk about that. Why do the police look like the military now, like indistinguishable? Who even is that? Where are the police? That started in 1997. The Clinton administration's National Defense Authorization included Section 1033. It's commonly known as the 1033 program. The program is to distribute leftover military defense weapons to police departments across America. We still have this to this day. In fact, regulations around this have even loosened. Before 2017, police departments would have to show that they used the weapons within a year or they would lose them. Now, maybe because there's a surplus of weapons, police can just hold on to them and there's no rules as far as that goes. It's just working like an online order system. They can just get what they want right from military. And by now, after all these wars in the Middle East since 2001, there's a lot of military stuff. And if you look at the weapons manufacturers, their profits, like Lockheed Martin and Boeing, their profits have gone up during the war on terror since 2001. And lo and behold, now we have like tanks and tear gas and grenades on the streets of our own country. Under Section 1033, police departments can get grenades, guns, as in M16 and M14 assault rifles. They can even get silencers, and they can get military tanks. So all this history keeps building on itself, and nothing has foundationally changed. There's just this leak from the military to the police, and currently we have 18,000 police departments around the country. And what we're doing is asking all of them to reform, but we don't have a national police, like a national oversight to standardize police practices. Rather than reporting to, like, say, a national police oversight, police departments actually try and just protect the image of their brand by, covering tracks a lot of times, or, looking the other way. This police culture of looking the other way is seen in the way that they let officers become field trainers by just needing the last 3 years of their record to be, like, clean and good. This was the case for Derek Chauvin, the murderer of George Floyd. He had a history of using too much force and brutality in his policing, but he was still able to become a field trainer because it was not on his record the past 3 years. Kim Potter was also a field trainer, and a lot of people have criticized, rightfully so, how is a police officer, like, who's a field trainer confusing a taser for a gun, or confusing a gun for a taser. It's like, the other thing is that it's a really big deal because those other officers were looking at her as the leader, so they weren't gonna, like, question the situation. And so what if it's like these field trainers are more of a cultural thing, more of a, rather than actually based on merit of good practices, because it's really just they're being cherry-picked. The tear gas being used at BLM protests is another example of the policing just out of control with no oversight. You even had the mayor of a city, like, standing with protesters saying,
if they launch the tear gas against you, they are launching the tear gas against me.
As if the mayor is helpless in the face of the police. Like, it's just ridiculous how much power they have at this point. It's something that could literally be dealt with from the top down. You would think, like, why can't there just be a halt on the tear gas when it's sort of like everybody knows that it's out of control. It's not just the tear gas, it's like the pepper spray bullets, the projectile, all these things we never even heard of till now, but surprise, surprise, it's a big multi-billion-dollar industry that needs protecting. Tear gas is illegal as a weapon of war, but it's actually legal in policing. So I don't know how that works, but America is the biggest manufacturer and biggest exporter of tear gas in the world. So the US not only dominates the lethal weapons industry, being the biggest manufacturer of weapons in the world, but also apparently America dominates this non-lethal weapons market, which is largely made up of tear gas. Today, at least 3 of the world's top less lethal weapons manufacturers are based in the US: Combined Systems Inc., Safariland Group, and Non-Lethal Technologies. Here's a picture of tear gas made by Non-Lethal Technologies being used by police in Hong Kong protests. In fact, America seems to be supplying tear gas to police forces around the world. Combined Systems Inc., based in quiet Jamestown, Pennsylvania, has alone sold to Bolivia, Tunisia, Guatemala, Germany, Netherlands, India, and of course, that's just the non-lethal weapons industry. America is responsible for the enormous size of virtually every weapons industry in the world. Fighting wars has always been part of America's economy, and the trickle-down effect back into our country has not been dealt with. It's really caught up to us. And it's really ironic that the Capitol insurgents back on January 6th, those who stormed the Capitol, they used military training from their past in order to do so. That's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching to the end. Please give it a like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in another video. Take care. Bye for now.